Misunderstanding Millennials. I am Jonathan Mills,
I'm Chance Ramsdale.
and welcome to another Thursday show. How you doing?
All right.
Doing
I'm all right.
You look different. You got the glasses on.
I've recently invested in some glasses. I've been blind. I've been driving around blind.
That's not good.
So I've recently invested in some glasses, and they're working out well.
It'll change your life. It'll change your life.
Okay.
Sorry, I had to pull the email up. We can go ahead and get our email at the bottom of the screen. If you want to go ahead and email us early on, we'll get to it.
Yep.
Probably within the next 15 minutes. But we're going to get right into this. And actually, not really a topic, but we're actually going to be testing out a format change for the show tonight. Meaning that we're not going to be doing what we usually do, where we kind of take up the first 30 minutes, and then the second half of the show is for callers and everything. What we're actually going to be doing. Well, if you watch these past 2 weeks of shows, we've kind of been, not to stroke our own egos or anything, but the calls have been booming.
Oh yeah, they've been
the calls have
coming
been
in.
booming. So we needed a little bit more
restriction.
a little bit more restriction.
Some rules.
Yeah. So unfortunately, we've had to end a few shows with calls still on the line, which we don't like to do because we want to make sure we get to everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And like last week, we had to jump right off the air. It's like right as the call was coming to an end. We didn't really get a chance to respond. So with that being said, we're gonna be testing out this new format and a couple of new rules. Normally we start the show with a topic that lasts like the first half, and then we take calls and everything for the other half. But I think what we're going to be doing now is our first segment here is going to kind of just be us having a discussion. We'll bring up a topic and everything. And then the middle 30 minutes of the show, segment like 2 and 3, we'll be taking calls and reading emails and stuff. And then for the last 15 minutes, me and Chance will have a chance to have some discussion about our topics of the night, so we don't have to rush to get off the phone to sort of cut anybody off at the end. And we're doing that so we can try and make sure that everybody gets their call taken. But and we're also going to be doing like a 2-minute rule on calls.
Yeah, you can think of it like Ken's show. After
Exactly.
2 minutes of you talking, not including us talking, if we're responding, we'll stop the timer.
Right.
But while you're talking, we will be having the timer counting down the 2 minutes, and when the 2 minutes is over, we'll have to cut you off.
Yeah, and we don't want to try and limit the discussion at all.
Mm-hmm.
But and we're not going to be fighting like as soon as your 2 minutes is up, we're going to cut you off. All we're really asking with this is that you if you're playing the call with a question, just please try to keep it concise and to the point, so that we're not dragging it out super long, because we can't take like a bunch of 5 to 10 minute calls every show if we're going to try and get everybody
Watch
in.
after this, we're just never going to have a call again. No one is ever going to call
Everybody's
us
going to be like, wow, they had to do it to us like that. But no, we're not trying to cut people off by doing that. So please don't think that we're trying to cut people off early. We just want to make sure that we can get everybody's call in that we can. I think that's pretty much it when it comes to how we want to handle phone calls and everything, the format of the show from here on out. Like we said last week, we kind of got cut off pretty early because, or not early, got cut off very late, almost moving into the next show, unfortunately, because we had a call that kind of went over a little bit, and no, of course, no issue with the caller or anything. But and that's kind of why we're doing this, to make sure that we have that time split up perfectly to where we can make it work. But we kind of didn't really get a chance to sort of address a lot of the topics that were last week, because we were kind of running so quick to make sure that we got through our calls. So I'm trying to think of what all did we miss last week that we kind of want to address.
Okay, so we had the one guy call up talking about how we're not being taught anything other than.
That's right. Education was a big topic of last week.
Yeah, we talked about college. We talked about history. Mm-hmm. I'm pretty sure he brought up the idea of us being taught that whites are being erased from history. Is that what he said?
Yeah. There's a little bit of discussion about history classes these days, and I think it might have been the week before we were talking about the Constitution, and just to clarify, because I feel like there's still some confusion floating around about that. Our history classes are typically American history classes that start from the beginning of America, really, and leading up to, and at least I think when I was in school,
post-industrial era, or the Brock.
That sounds like a very technical term, but I'll trust you.
Okay, yeah, it's the post-industrial era.
Okay.
It's after the Industrial Revolution.
Okay, because I know that my teaching of American history, I think, was around Bush.
Okay.
But again, I've taken history it was 5 or 6 years ago. So
because that's when the. No, it wasn't. Never mind. I don't want to start spatting out facts that I don't know.
Yeah.
But I think we were taught up until the Barack.
Okay.
Becoming President Barack.
Okay. But there was a little bit of controversy last week saying that and I think it kind of went into the Silent Sam topic, which we do want to have a show on.
Mm-hmm.
We just kind of have to compile all the information because we don't want to jump into it blind. So maybe next week. That's the plan. Is next week for Silent Sam. But this talk that we're trying to erase white Anglo-Saxon males from history textbooks, and like I can just tell you that if we did that, our history classes would probably last about
what, like
a fraction of the time.
Yeah, like one freaking seminar, 2 seminars.
Yeah, and
most.
and I'm not saying that to say that white Anglo-Saxon history is all that matters in history, because it's not.
No,
of course.
No.
But
a
lot of American history back then is focused on what all these white males. I mean, look at our presidents. I mean, if we were to erase that, we would literally be talking about like one president. So
yeah.
I mean, to the caller that had an issue with that and was really saying that he disagreed about our curriculum for our history classes, I can assure you that's not what is happening, and I wouldn't even sort of attribute the situation with people sort of vandalizing and tearing down statues to education. I wouldn't even say that that's sort of the root cause of that.
Mm-mm.
I wouldn't say that at all.
Not at all. What else did we talk about?
Well, we had the call right at the end that was which I'm trying to remember exactly what he said, because it was a little bit of a longer call, and I know the gist of the call because I did go back and rewatch our live stream on YouTube.com, Misunderstanding Millennials. Be sure to subscribe.
Check us out. Subscribe. They'll pay us if you subscribe.
He was I wish, but he was talking about the making sure that we go and do some research on some topics that we might not be familiar with, because I think the gist of what he was saying was that some of these topics that we're not familiar with, such as like socialism, communism, he threw Christianity in there,
mm-hmm.
Stuff like that we might want to do a little bit more research into it before going and I guess defending it on the air, which I mean that's fine if that's how you feel. I mean, I've said it a million times on the air that I'm not going to sit here and pretend to be the source of all like
you're not Google.
I'm not the source of all knowledge when it comes to politics. If you asked me for like the definition of socialism, I couldn't give it to you. But it's like, I mean,
he knows the gist of it.
Yeah,
and that's what we're basing our opinions on.
You probably know more than I do, so
yeah. Well,
probably. And there was one thing that was said at the very end of the show that the caller, we've had a few people say this by now, that the caller said, and again, I'm not saying this to try and call out this caller, so please don't think that. I just want to make sure that we cover everything that happened. That he said that he hopes that we found like a path, or find our pathway in life or something like that, and
mm-hmm.
That we start taking things more
the
serious.
Road we shall take.
Yeah, and that we find it sooner rather than later. But the thing is not, and we say this a lot, is not all of us have the same beliefs or anything like that. None of us are the same. None of us all sort of fall under one umbrella that kind of have the same belief system and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So, and just because we might not fall under part of that umbrella for some other people doesn't mean that we
do not have an umbrella.
Right. That doesn't mean that we have no morals and that we're lost and we're just wandering trying to figure out what to do with our lives. No, we're pretty on track people, regardless of what we think or believe. So don't think that we don't take our lives seriously.
Yeah, we're not a bunch of degenerates.
Yeah.
Just walking.
Just don't think that we don't take our lives seriously just because of the way that we think.
Yeah,
I think that's a good way to put it.
Oh yeah, that's fantastic, Jonathan.
Thank you.
High five, dude.
Thank you. I thought that was pretty good.
Sick. All right then.
So, I think we are about done with our spill here. I think that's about all that got covered.
Okay.
In the last week's episode. I'm trying to think of what most of the early on calls we kind of got a chance to answer.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, going back to the guy who called about the history book, who was asking about the publisher and everything of the history book. I think that was Pearson.
Yeah,
so
if
you are curious about what the history books, I guess more recent history books are teaching, look up the publisher Pearson. And you can take a look at the books. I don't have one because the schools around here, you kind of just borrow one.
Yeah.
And then you have to give it back.
They publish almost everything,
mm-hmm.
and they are not biased, from what I'm told.
I would say not. I mean, I feel like it's very hard to be Well, I was going to say it's kind of hard to be biased when it comes to history, But I mean, if it's just a retelling of like historical events and like people, you know what I mean.
Pearson isn't going to look at a major historical figure and be like, you know what? I'm tired of all these white dudes being in this book, and just cut them out. That's not what's going to happen.
Yeah.
So.
But yeah, I mean, I think you hit the nail on the head with that one. I mean, and I would say that's just American history. I mean, if we're looking at world history, it's definitely a totally different story because you're looking at the world. I mean, I would say like early American history is pretty white dominant when it comes to like figures and like events and stuff like that. So,
but world history, where civilization started in East Africa and made its way up, it's not white. They're not white. They are. But that far back people are.
But definitely don't think
white.
that we're that all of this is a result of education telling people that we need to erase parts of history. And don't get us wrong. And he did say a few times, I understand that you guys yourselves, you're millennials and you're not the ones doing it, but those millennials keep wanting to knock down the Confederate or wipe out history and knock out the statues and everything. But I mean, me personally, I don't condone stuff like that. I'm not ever going to say, vandalism sounds like the way to go.
That doesn't sound very logical.
And again, we say this like every week, but we don't speak for all millennials, 80 million of us. The big
Some
number.
of us like vandalism, arson. Those are the degenerates.
I mean, it's not like we're going over there and saying, you might vandalize stuff every so often, but it's okay. Like, no, I don't think most people condone vandalism like that.
I did break a pen over in the corner, and there's ink everywhere. So I guess that's kind of vandalism, but I mean, I didn't mean to. So. I mean, everybody's got a little bit of vandalism in them.
Yeah, I would say so.
Maybe not tearing down major statues.
But yeah, I think when it comes to statues like the Silent Sam statue, which I would love to do an episode on next week when we can get some more information together. I think there's, from what I've seen and what I've heard, I feel like there's more to it than just a bunch of angry kids running up and tearing down a statue.
Yeah.
And and again, not saying that that's right or anything. I don't want people to try and twist my words and say that we condone that. But I feel like there's a lot more to that story that a lot of people don't know about that should really be brought to light.
That meets the eye.
Right.
All right, then.
Well, I guess now would be as good a time as ever to go ahead and take a break. And again, working with our new format, you can see our email down on the screen there, millennials47@gmail.com.
We're opening the lines up next segment?
We will be opening the lines up next segment. We'll be taking calls for the next 30 minutes or so and having a discussion. If you have a question or a comment, just try to please have it kind of concise and down to a general point, so we can kind of run this 2-minute rule so we can kind of get through as many calls as we can. And we'll be back after these messages, and we'll be taking calls from you guys.
See ya.
back to Misunderstanding Millennials. We're going to be getting the phone numbers on the screen, which they are, and the lines are now open. I think Chance wanted to talk about something. I'm going to check the email real quick and check our Facebook page for any comments.
Okay.
So you go ahead on your spill that you wanted to say so bad.
So I want to talk about participation trophies. Now, in my mind, I think there are winners and then there are losers. And now, losers shouldn't get trophies. And I know parents want their kids to be happy, want their kids to feel like they succeeded, but maybe they just don't succeed sometimes.
We talked about this on an episode one time.
Maybe
we talked
we have.
about participation trophies, yeah.
Maybe we have. I don't remember.
Uh-huh.
But, I mean, you can call up and say you agree with me or disagree with me while I'm saying this, but it's just like, I used to play soccer when I was a kid.
Okay.
Never scored a goal. I was always picking grass. I was that kid.
Okay.
You know how many trophies I have? We never won. I never won a single game.
You never won a single game?
Never won a single game as a
Okay.
kid. You know how many trophies I have from playing soccer when I was a kid?
How many?
So many. It's just taking up space. They're just out there drifting around. It's like someone can come over and knock them down. It's nothing, right?
Okay.
So call up if you agree that participation trophies are garbage, because I think they are. But I don't know. I don't like them. I don't like them.
Okay.
But what I was also thinking about is you can kind of compare the Confederate monuments as participation trophies, because there's a war, one side won, one side lost. So should the losers get monuments? Like, I'm not sure. Like, I think maybe there should be some more Union monuments up.
You know, I can't say I've ever seen a Union monument.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, have you ever seen a Union monument? Like, we won. Now, maybe like an American flag is a Union monument.
Is it?
Because it's an American flag. But like, do we need Confederate monuments around? Like, are they really necessary? I don't think so. They lost. So like, when you're flying your Confederate flag, yeet yeet. Like, come on, you lost, and that was your ancestors too. So like, come on, dude. Like, come on. We lost, yeah.
Thank you for that, Chance.
Yeah, no problem.
You bring up some good points.
So, it's just how it is. Like, I don't understand them. I don't get them.
I mean, to be fair, I don't really get it. Like, I understand the historical value, because, I mean, it's not like we're going and erecting these statues today.
Well, of course.
Like, the statues obviously have some age to them. But, I'm totally cool with it being, like, a historical thing, but, I feel like, you know, we could put them in like a museum, or at least on some sort of like, you know, historical ground.
Maybe.
Right, but I mean,
I don't know. I mean, I
don't think they need to be torn down per
Maybe
se. Like, I mean, for example, because you know, I think most people know at this point where I went to school. But over in Greensboro, they renamed one of the auditoriums there.
Mm-hmm.
The guy whose name was I can't remember who it was, but they changed the name because they found record of the guy owning his ancestors owning slaves in the day, and they changed
his ancestors owning slaves.
I think it was either his ancestors or the guy that it was named after.
Well, yeah, owning slaves is not cool. So
yeah,
it's not a cool thing.
I think how people feel about it is they just don't want to kind of glorify the the ideals of the Confederacy, I guess, if that makes sense. Does that make sense?
Well, maybe we should put them in museums because they're so old. But, I mean, we shouldn't be like...
I think we should put a lot of things in museums because they're old.
Yeah, like Mark.
Wow, okay. Jeez.
But, like I'm saying, it's just like, I don't think they're that big of a deal. Maybe we shouldn't be tearing them down, but if we could just pick them up and put them in a museum and let them,
I agree
collect
with that.
dust or something, just do that. Like,
wow, you're on a harsh high horse today, huh?
I mean, I just don't see the point of them.
All right.
They're participation trophies.
We did have a comment from Facebook, and I'm still laughing at the last thing, but the comment says we just want others to laugh so they don't feel as bad as we do. Then in return, it makes us feel better too. And I agree with that because I mean we had our conversation on a really early episode.
Are you talking self-deprecation humor?
Yes. Yes.
Oh, that's my life.
That is my life too. But you know, we kind of had that episode. I think it was honestly like our third episode or something where we talked about you know, so your kid might be making jokes and you have no idea what they're saying, and you know sometimes they sound kind of dark, and but you know don't worry because that kind of humor is just how people communicate these days.
Yeah, my
apparently.
parents were worried about me for a little bit.
Yeah, and see, like, my family kind of got on board, and now they understand a little bit more like how that humor goes.
Mm-hmm.
But if I know when I make people laugh, I feel good.
Oh yeah.
Even if I'm making a joke at my own expense and somebody laughs at it, it kind of makes me feel good,
Mm-hmm.
even if it's kind of bad.
Oh yeah.
But thank you to the one that commented that. That's a good comment. The phone lines are open. You can see our phone numbers there on the screen if you want to call.
Call up.
I think we had a call for a second, unless they hung up or something. I saw that it was on there. And I was,
Oh, okay.
oh, okay. That's great.
Oh,
Okay,
you
that's
should have.
fair.
That'd been hilarious.
That's fair. I disagree with that statement.
Yeah, I disagree with
Obviously,
that
we can't
also.
say. Well, I mean, we probably say it in a nicer manner on television, couldn't we?
He said we were homosexual.
What was that? What was that? Can we say that word? Okay.
Okay.
All right. Well, we can go ahead and say it then.
All right, go ahead and say it.
So our producer just informed us that somebody called in and said that we were a bunch of queers.
Wow, that's terrible. Why didn't you want? That's terrible, man.
I mean, if you want it to say us to our face, you have to get through Chase first.
Yeah, so I wouldn't
So-
introduce yourself as those are guys are a bunch of queers. I would say, hey, I'm here to say nice things about you, and then you can get in and say
Yeah.
it. And then we'll hang up on you. But
Yeah,
I
and
mean-
then we'll laugh.
Oh, and we will laugh.
We will laugh, but we
We
will
will
hang
laugh.
up on you probably.
So,
So thank you for that caller. That's great.
That's a
that
good
that
comment.
actually that's
Kinda-
kind of funny. That kind of makes my day actually.
Self-deprecation, man.
Self-deprecation,
Why-
man.
It's not that much deprecation. It's funny. But call up. Lines
Yeah,
are
go ahead
down
and
there.
call up. We can go back to some of the stuff we were talking about back in the production room earlier before we started the show.
Go ahead.
About some topics that we want to talk about. Been a pretty, I assume it's an ongoing case talking about gerrymandering in North Carolina that ended up going to the Supreme Court, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can talk about that. Actually, I'm going to write that down if you stop drawing snails with my pen.
Okay. So gerrymandering is bad. It's a bad thing. It's unconstitutional to gerrymander people based on race, but it isn't unconstitutional to gerrymandering people based on their political views.
Okay.
So
And this is the decision
yeah,
that came from the Supreme Court, right? Or is this what they're arguing?
this is what they're arguing
Okay,
right now.
gotcha.
Or no, that's the decision that came from the Supreme Court. What they're
Okay.
arguing right now is if our districts are gerrymandered or not.
Okay, gotcha.
Which is that right, Chase? You want to come say it?
He said whatever and said, nah, you're good. So I'm assuming that's what it is. But again, the reason we didn't talk about it today is because you're going to go try and get more information about
Yeah,
it.
get more research. Just
So,
know that's coming up.
That
pretty
is
soon.
coming. Silent Sam, that's his name, right?
Participation trophy.
Yeah. We're going to talk about that. But again, that's sort of like I would say that's an ongoing case that we would like to cover.
Okay.
Silent Sam.
Silent Sam.
Silent Sam.
Call us. Tell us what you think
I
about
don't.
Silent Sam.
I remember
Tell us what
hearing
you think about gerrymandering.
somebody told me that a picture has surfaced recently of Michael Jordan posing with Silent Sam, like back in the day when he went to UNC.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and unfortunately I didn't find the picture, but I don't know. Just somebody brought that up, and I thought it was an interesting point.
It's kind of ironic.
I mean, it's kind of weird that
Yeah, it is kind of weird.
I guess I don't know. I think what they were getting at was that it was kind of weird that that Michael Jordan's fine with this statue and he's going and posing with it, and of course you got to think this is a pretty aged photo.
Mm-hmm.
But now here we are, not we, but people are over there tearing the statue down.
Oh well. Well, I mean,
actually, we should see if we can find that picture. 'Cause
does
that's
not bother
interesting.
me. Does not bother me.
I mean, it's kind of one of those things where I don't want to sound insensitive, but it's kind of one of those things where I'm like, that kind of sucks. People shouldn't probably be doing that, but I'm not losing sleep over it. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I got you.
Stop doing that.
I'm not
but
trying to go to sleep at night and be like, man, Silent Sam.
pour one out for
Rip
a
my
boy.
participation trophy, Silent Sam. Like, come on. Like, really.
Well,
Call.
okay, wow. So
Call
demanding.
up. Tell us what you think about the Silent Sam. Tell us what you think about gerrymandering, education.
Because gerrymandering is kind of a big topic,
Oh,
especially in our area here in Rockingham County.
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
they're getting it.
Yeah, so our numbers are down here. You can call them if you want to. You'll talk to Chase.
I told you no one's going to call up.
Really? You thought
Yeah,
so?
I thought as soon as we said something about people calling up a lot, there they go. gone once again.
Hey, sometimes that's how it goes, right? So
I guess. But
we're probably going to need to go ahead and take a break. You can go ahead and call down below, get those numbers.
Email us all your bad words. We'll bleep them out. We'll take the white out like we did our textbooks and just start whiting out. Like, come on. Like, do something. Email
down on the bottom of the screen. We'll read it when we come back. But we're going to go ahead and take a break, and we'll be back after some messages.
Some messages.
Would you like to eliminate your power bills?
Misunderstanding Millennials. Just to clear something up before we take this call, gerrymandering right now, the situation with that is that they have determined, Supreme Court has determined that you cannot do it based on race, but they're currently trying to determine whether or not it is, that you can do it based on party affiliation. Because right now, I believe what we determined is it is lawful that you can do it right now based on party affiliation.
Yes,
but they're currently questioning whether or not that they are
that should stay lawful.
Right.
Or not.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. So
let's go ahead and take this call.
Hi, caller. You're on there.
Yeah, guys. Gerrymandering has been going on for several years, especially since the General Assembly has been controlled by the Republicans, the Democrats have been using that issue as a wedge issue. But both parties do it whenever either party is in power, and that's the very reason why we have representatives in this country like Maxine Waters, some of these flakes that are complete idiots, because their areas are gerrymandered to where they're going to get a particular amount of a certain vote. But you guys, I was the one that was talking to you guys last week when you had to go ahead and end the show.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
we're really sorry about that. It just we were literally 30 seconds till the next hour, and we just had to go.
Oh yeah, that's the way it goes on live TV. But something I would ask either one of you if you really are aware of why we're going to use the term Civil War, even though that's not a correct term.
Okay.
But why that was fought and the whole meaning behind it, dude.
It was.
How much you guys learned about that?
Yeah, it's Federalist versus Anti-Federalist. Basically, big government versus small government.
And that's your opinion. It had nothing to do with slavery or the 10th Amendment, which
Well,
I asked you if you knew much about the Constitution. The 10th Amendment would explain the Civil War.
Well, yeah. Sorry, just repeat that, Colorado.
Yeah, can you repeat that one more time about the amendment?
The 10th Amendment of the Constitution would explain the reason behind the Civil War. Are you familiar with that? And that was one reason I kind of challenged you guys to learn a little bit about the Constitution and our form of government.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest. I don't remember what the 10th Amendment is off the top of my head. We don't. I mean, again, like I said, we don't really study it, and I don't really go over it in my free time. I mean, I would agree with Chance about what he said it was fought over. I think a lot of people. I would definitely say. I know you mentioned, and I'm sorry, I was writing down what you were saying as you were saying that, but I would say that slavery definitely played a part in it, but I don't think it's the major sole reason as to why the Civil War was fought.
Oh yeah, it definitely wasn't the sole reason, but it did
I'd say it had an impact at least.
you can't say the Confederates wouldn't have been okay with not keeping slaves. You know what I'm saying? It would be, they would have wanted slaves.
And I know we're doing the 2-minute rule deal, and that's cool. But do you realize that the slavery issue wasn't even an issue until the Emancipation Proclamation, which was almost 2 years after the beginning of the Civil War.
Right.
It became convenient for the North to use it as a wedge issue because they were actually losing the war. The South was winning and was winning major, and the North needed troops, and they also needed conscripts, and they had a large population of blacks that they pulled from. Blacks also fought on the southern side as well.
That's right, yeah.
But do you realize that only less than 2% of Confederate soldiers owned slaves? Actually, it was a higher percent of blacks who owned slaves at the very same time.
Well, I feel like you said that slavery wasn't a pressing issue before the Northern leaders brought it up. The Emancipation Proclamation. Yeah. I feel like that slavery in itself is an issue. It's an issue. It's a bad thing. It shouldn't happen. It shouldn't have happened. And I feel like you wouldn't how long do you think slavery would have continued if the Confederacy did win?
It was dying. It was going away, already to a large degree because the industries were changing. Everybody refers to slavery and cotton picking, and that may be not PC, but that's just really what it comes down to. But the North was much more industrialized,
right?
So they didn't have to rely on that type of labor. But tell you a little story real quick because I know time is limited. But
yeah,
during pre-Civil War time, a general needed a bridge built in Louisiana, so he needed labor. He went to a local plantation and asked if he could use some of the slaves on that plantation. Plantation owner told him, says, "No, I'm not going to do that. I have paid too much, and I care too much. They're too valuable to me. I'll let you go and work them to death." And the plantation owner turned around and said, go find the Irish. You can work them to death, and if they die, nobody cares.
Yeah.
The Irish were the very first slaves in the United States.
Yeah,
Right.
the Irish definitely did have a very. I'd say they. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if you can really compare like who had it worse, but they definitely did have it
All right.
nearly as bad. Yeah.
Well, caller, your time's up.
And look at and of course look at the Chinese who built much of the railways, and
right.
you know, it was a derogatory term that was used much for them, but they were treated much more worse, you know, and that's why I challenge you guys to learn about history, not just what you learn from school and public education, because.
Well,
You did admit that, you know, public educators do have an agenda.
all right, caller.
Yeah.
Well, your time's up. We
Yeah.
thank you for your call.
Thank you so much.
And have a nice night.
Yeah.
All right, we have another call that we can go ahead and hop on to.
All right. Hi, caller. You're on there.
Hey, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
I know I only got 2 minutes here, but sometimes I don't know if you're live or repeating stuff.
Oh no, we're live. Don't worry.
Yeah, but on that Confederate memorial stuff, when it first started between then and now, I heard something that I didn't know. That most of those memorials were built in the turn of the century, years after the war was over.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't an immediate thing. And in a way, it was saying, all right, the history's changed, but we like it the way it was, or you ain't never going to be a superior race, or... And just like the previous guy was saying, if it wasn't a black person, they'd find something else to treat bad.
Okay.
Not equally, so what's the opposite equal? Unequal.
Mm-hmm.
Worse. You know, go ahead, that's all I have to say.
Okay. Well,
Listen, have you ever heard that most of those monuments was built?
oh, I personally did not know,
Yeah,
but that even makes my point even stronger.
Well, here's some more information I'll pass along.
Okay.
Have you ever seen a picture of the Klan, KKK, whatever you want to say it politically correct, marching down Washington, D.C., the full width of the avenue, hundreds of them. Have you ever seen?
I actually I did know that was a
Yeah.
thing. I actually have seen pictures of that.
Behind that, you know, that was the peak of this, and then whatever changed, you know, calm down, or what's so extreme. We just go back and forth,
Yeah.
any kind of issue, you know.
Yeah. All right. Well, we appreciate the call.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Thank you.
And hope you have a nice. All right, hope you have a nice night. All right.
That is a good point, because I mean, you know, and like the previous caller said that you know, the Chinese and the Irish were kind of getting sort of the same treatment. I wouldn't say nearly as bad,
Yeah.
but they were kind of getting the same treatment.
Well, then how about we take the Confederate monuments and put them in museums, and then put up monuments to the people who were being abused during that time?
Well, I mean,
Sounds like a great idea for me.
maybe, but
Well,
do we want to go ahead and take our break, or do we have a few more minutes to kind of discuss?
we can go ahead and take a break. Let's just
We
go
can
ahead and take a break.
All right.
All right. Well, we're gonna take a break. We'll probably be back. Not sure. Depends on what happens in the break. We'll see you later. We'll be back. Peace. popped in,
but
Chase.
okay.
Sorry, I guess we're
We're
live.
live.
Well, we have
Welcome
a caller.
back.
Well, yeah, welcome back.
That's more important.
But we do have a
No,
caller.
it's not more important. We got to make sure we welcome him back.
Oh, yeah,
I won't be
welcome
rude.
back. Okay, all right.
Okay, let's take his call.
Hi, caller. You're on there.
Yes, how you guys?
How's it going?
The only reason, if you'll go back in history, I was the guy that called last Thursday night about the history and stuff.
Okay.
Okay.
If you'll really go back in history and study it, the Civil War would have never been won by the North if it hadn't have been for them having the resources and the money for the railroad to transport their troops and horses and ammunition to the South. That's a fact. That's an absolute concrete fact.
Okay.
The
Well,
war would have never been won. The South would have won that war
Okay.
if it hadn't been for Lincoln
Well,
well,
and his treasury.
well. I mean, it's like one of the previous callers said. We know that the North was kind of like the industrial powerhouse of the two, and I think,
Exactly.
yeah.
Well, I don't want to eat up my 2 minutes here.
Oh, no, don't worry. Don't worry.
I just want to tell you,
Okay.
it's an absolute fact.
so
You guys sitting there, you little twerps, he's sitting there, your partner, smoking an e-cigarette on TV. I can't believe Charles Ross allows that.
Well, Charles
And
is
it
a
looks
big.
like you're sipping on some kind of beer or something out of a disguised container.
It's water.
Charles Ross called to fire y'all because
Okay.
you're not doing nothing but sitting there stirring up trouble
Okay.
between black and white people.
That's
And
what we're
you're
doing.
so black,
you're right.
and that's a fact.
All right.
I don't know. Well, I would.
We love stirring up trouble between races.
Tonight.
All right then.
All right. Thank you for your call, but
That was great. Okay. All right.
all right.
Perfect. All right.
Stirring up trouble. I mean.
Oh, he didn't get to his 2 minutes.
Stirring up trouble, I would say that, we realize that we have controversial opinions compared to most people that are, watching the station or calling into these shows, but controversial opinions as to stir up, like, controversy between the races, like, no way.
We're not like, oh,
No
dude.
way.
I'd be like,
I would love
no one's
to...
stirring up controversy between races. What does that even
And,
mean?
and what I was trying to show was, while we were talking, you do have a vape. He said Charles needs to fire us because you're smoking a vape on the air.
Okay.
But he is like this big, he is a big vape.
Yeah.
god.
Charles did have a vape store open in Martinsville at one point.
But in case you are wondering what I'm drinking, I have not torn it's Crystal Lake spring water.
Yep.
That I brought from home because I was thirsty.
Yep.
No, I'm trust me, I'm not brave enough to come here and drink alcohol on the air. I think that's illegal for one thing.
It might be. I'm not sure.
Or, well, I'm sure the FCC or whoever,
But,
they would probably not be happy about that. But no, it's water.
And back to the point of us stirring up trouble. That's fun. I love stirring up trouble. That's hilarious.
And I mean, and the thing is we're not out here trying to play antagonists or just trying to stir up trouble to make people
Yeah.
mad. Like the thing is
I will.
not everybody has the same viewpoint, and we understand that we are in this kind of area where we have a minority viewpoint, and that's fine. And a lot of people, I've gotten a lot of comments myself talking about my opinion. They can't believe, oh, I can't believe that about you. You live in so and so, and I'm like, well, yeah, just because I live there doesn't mean I think like the majority. But are we controversial?
Yes.
Based on our viewer base, probably.
Yep.
But are we trying to sit here and try to stir up some race war or something? No.
Oh, God, no. What? What are you talking about,
There's
dude?
no way. I mean, I would say that we've never really said anything that would be trying to cause controversy between race other than... Actually, I
What?
can't even really think of anything.
I don't know. I think he just got mad because I called Confederate monuments participation trophies.
I don't want any, say anything ill towards the caller because we appreciate the call regardless, but we we are not up here trying to start controversy between races. Like,
I'll start controversy between you and I.
that's fine. I mean,
That's easy. Let's do it.
I mean, what
fine.
else do you say about that, really?
Dude, us getting fired? That's pretty harsh.
I don't. Something tells me that Charles is not watching, but I'll be sure to bring that up to him. At
Oh,
some point.
please call the buzz with that.
Yeah, I mean,
please. I would love to hear
Charles has done shows before where he does critique the Millennial Show.
Yep.
So
He'll love for you to
feel free
call
up Charles and let him know how we're doing.
it.
Because I mean, if you want to call us and let us know how we're doing too,
You might as well call Charles.
Feel
You call
free.
Ken if you wanted to.
'Cause
That'd be funny.
we had a guy last week call, and actually I can't remember if it was the same guy who asked about who our employer was and who signs our paychecks and everything.
Oh yeah, you're right. That's Charles Ward.
That yeah.
That's Charles Ward. He
But,
signs our paychecks.
But yeah.
What did he call me? A
twerp?
A twerp?
Twerp.
Oh my god.
Man.
That hurts my feelings. I'm gonna cry later. I'm gonna sob.
I'm not sure who the partner was. I'm not sure if you're my partner.
Oh
or if
yeah,
I'm your
partner. Partners in crime. Partner in race war.
Yeah.
Like, that's hilarious.
Like if anything, I would say that we're up here trying to. We've given our kind of spill about how we need to just like kind of unify and stop trying to cause drama between everybody based on stupid ideals, whether it be like any differing viewpoint anyway.
Yeah.
Like just because we have differing viewpoints doesn't make us like any less human.
Yeah. How are people gonna learn unless differing viewpoints are brought up?
Right.
How are discussions gonna be?
And again, like we said, we don't do this show to stroke our egos so people call up here who agree with us and say, yeah, keep fighting the good fight,
Soldier.
Yeah. So,
No.
I mean,
if
we
you want
want
to call
people-
up and
we
tell
want
us
people-
we should get fired,
yeah, we
go
want
ahead.
people to call up and that have different opinions than
I
us
love
and
it.
tell us what they think.
But instead
so
of
we
telling
can have
us
a discussion about it, yeah.
that we're twerps and we need to get fired, maybe if we discuss, if we
Right.
talk it out like two grown men, three
Yeah.
grown men,
3 grown men.
we can come to a mutual understanding.
But hey, I mean, if you don't like what we have to say, I'm sorry, I guess, but
Yeah.
I mean, that's
so
just-
whatever, you're gonna have to deal with it.
that's just how it goes. But I guess all in all, we're not getting rid of white people in history.
No, we're not.
Don't worry. We're not sitting up here trying to advocate for, tension between races. We're not up here trying to do that.
No, we're not.
I would love to hear an example of how we're up here trying to cause controversy.
Oh, and we have our
tension
videos on
between-
YouTube, so you can clip them and
Yeah.
show us it.
I
Send
would
us
love
it.
to know what we've said that seems like it's trying to cause some sort of controversy. But
Yeah.
I'd love to see how people, because a lot of, and I don't want to start ranting about like our callers that call in. And
Show
critique
us your sources.
Is,
that was a
but-
stab at Caleb. He's not paying attention. I'm just messing with you. I got you. Oh, okay.
But the thing is,
I'm just messing with you, man. It's all good.
the problem is just because we have a different opinion, I'm sorry, but a lot of people kind of call in and say that we have sort of this. Do we want to take this call or do we
Okay,
want
we're
to
gonna take this call, but you got to be quick about it. Quick.
Okay.
Oh,
If you'd wait, be patient. Hold on.
He hung up.
Okay, they hung up. That's okay.
okay, never mind.
So anyway, the thing is a lot of people kind of like say that we're trying to push like certain agendas and everything, but nobody has really kind of give us a real example of us doing that from our shows.
Yeah, we're just spreading the liberal propaganda on the show. That's what we're doing, right?
Yeah. That's what people think.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
But if you have an example of you thinking that
we're sparking the race war.
that we're sparking a race war or something like that, or that we're trying to push some sort of agenda, sure, we'll give you our opinion on what we think about things, and we might agree to disagree, but if at the end of the day, if you don't agree with my opinion and turn to it, I'm not gonna lose sleep over it.
You got a TV remote.
Yeah.
All right. Or if you don't, you can just dial or hit the antenna to where we go off.
Just hit it with a hammer.
Or mute us. I don't know. If we just look good and you just want to see us. All right.
Wow. What a great.
All right. Well, we're out of here.
Yeah.
It's me, Chance.
And I'm Jonathan. Be sure to like our Facebook page, Misunderstanding Millennials.
Go subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Misunderstanding Millennials as well. Keep up with us. We'll be here next
You can
Thursday.
send us emails over the week. We will bring them up on the show. We'll be at next Thursday at 7 Eastern
Did you
Standard
forget the time?
A little bit, yeah.
Okay,
I did,
don't
actually.
worry.
All right, I was gonna say 8, but all right, 7.
7 p.m. next Thursday. We'll be here. We hope that you're here. Have a good night.
Until next time.
See you later.
Peace, brothers.